That's Sutton. I'm Simply. And this is the Purple Rain Podcast. Welcome back to episode 193. We're getting up there of the Purple Rain Podcast, the Calais Campbell episode, the Juan Edwards episode, Lawrence Guy, Corey Redding, D'Angelo Tyson, Keith Washington, and Chris Wormley episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. Just went through every player to wear 93 for the Ravens.
Nice.
Yeah, you can't be there. But you can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. Follow this guy, Instagram, Twitter, at Sutton Def. You can follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod and on Twitter at simplyas10, and most importantly, our sponsor. K-Dog put it up there like one of the first things in the chat, Manscaped. You know, want to go in there, get yourself something nice, get somebody you know something nice. I actually used it today, so I got this. Use code PRP, 20% off and free shipping worldwide. We got your back. It's our gift to you, but it is a Friday Eve, like our mod K-Dog says. How are you doing on this Friday Eve?
Doing well. I cannot complain, not one bit. I see we got the live chat going crazy already. The Rain Gang in full effect per usual. Mod Rush. Is Rush a mod? Rush is a mod, isn't he?
Of course. One of the first.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so. I'm gonna have to start referring to him as Mod Rush. It's Mod Rush now. K-Dog, like you said, is in the house. Says, yo, what's good, Rain Gang family, on this Friday Eve? K-Dog, how you doing, man? Appreciate you for coming through per usual. J Prime 235 in the house. What's good, man? Cam the Baptist. Hello. Rush just giving a shout out to the Flock Nation. And K-Dog says, tired of being nice. Yeah. Smash that damn like button. It's free. And it helps these gentlemen a ton. I mean, K-Dog is spitting right there.
You pissed them off.
Yeah. Spitting all facts there. Go ahead and hit the like button on this video, and if you're new, go ahead and just subscribe to the channel as well. We greatly appreciate that too. You know, make some friends with the Rain Gang. We love that. Cam says smash the like, or the kids, you guys know the kids don't eat.
Kids no dinner. Listen, it's found dinner time. You might get the scraps.
The kids can either eat or they can starve. I mean, the choice is yours. You gotta like the video. You know what I mean? All right. We got Zach in the house. What's going on, Zach? Appreciate you for coming through. We got Dre in here too. Okay. The Rain Gang here in full effect. Justin Stevens in the house. Yolanda B, a Purple Rain pioneer herself. We appreciate all you guys for coming through to this episode. Chike in the house as well. Says, yo, it's Bengals week, gents. Yes, it is. We're going to get all into that matchup this week. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good episode. So make sure you stick around, subscribe, like the video. And with that being said, let's go ahead and just not mince any more words, get into what we came here to talk about. So week 2, Ravens taking on Cincinnati in Cincinnati. I think it's going to be a very interesting game, as these games typically are between these two teams. It's always a chess match, always a good game, especially in the Burrow ages. You know, I can remember, I can point to games last season where I would say excluding that, what was it, week 17 game or week 16 game we had the Bengals, we played them.
18, final game of the year.
Week 18,
and back
right?
To back.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, but the week, I think it was week 5 we played them the first time. So week 5 and then the playoff game, those are two pretty good games, you know, all things considered. So I'm expecting nothing less in this week 2 matchup on Sunday at 1 p.m. on CBS. We came here to break it down for you guys. So let's go ahead and bring up our preview slides, right? So, got to go ahead and change the layout. You know how we do. Yeah, got to change the layout so you guys can see. All right, so a Purple Rain preview, right? So obviously, these numbers here are just reflecting 1 week, right? Week 1. So not a very big sample size. Last week we did all of last year's number, but it's a new year. We've got some information to go off of, although it be a little bit of information. It's information nonetheless. So we're going to use it. Just kind of going down the list here. Last week, the Ravens had 169 yards passing, or Lamar Jackson did. Rushing yards, 110 rushing yards on the ground. So passing yards allowed, 242 to CJ Stroud and company last week. Rush yards allowed, just 72. Not bad. We scored 25 points last week. Our opponent only scored 9 points. So it was a victory for us. And then you look over at the Bengals side. who kind of came out the gate stumbling a little bit, which a lot of people didn't really expect, but I kind of did. I picked the Browns to beat the Bengals last week, and it happened. It came to fruition. So let's see what they did. So passing yards, Joe Burrow only was able to muster up 82 passing yards in week 1. The Bengals were only able to collectively rush for only 75 yards. And then passing yards allowed 154, pretty pedestrian, nothing too crazy. And then rush yards allowed 206. Now that number right there jumps out to me, just like it jumped out to us last week with the Texans allowing 170 over the last year or so. Them allowing 206, although it be Nick Chubb and company, we know how good he is. That's an interesting number. Although we don't have a J.K. Dobbins, that's still an interesting number and something to keep in mind come Sunday. And then lastly, they only scored 3 points last week, so pretty mid. And then they allowed 24 points. So all things considered, you would think that this should be an easy matchup for the Ravens, but I can guarantee you it will not be. It is a divisional matchup, and it's going to be a close one. It's going to be a close one. You guys are going to be interested to hear my score prediction. I'm sure Alex is as well. But yeah, overall, what are just your initial thoughts on this matchup before we get to our keys to victory? What are your thoughts on this matchup going into week 2?
Well, it's AFC North football. So it's our first divisional game, and you think week 2, it's like, okay, we're going to have a fully healthy team. That is nowhere near. We're not even close to being healthy. And seeing the report this week, it honestly guts me. Just seeing how much talent we have there on that report, it kills me. But yeah, so personally, hot take: they're going to score more than 3 points. They're not going to put up 3 points back-to-back games. Let's not sit here and be unrealistic. Like you said, it's only off one game. But I'm with you. The rushing yards allowed really has my eyes open. And I know J.K. Dobbins isn't going to be there, but Gus Edwards and Justice Hill were doing their thing before J.K., even when J.K. was here in 2020. And I know it's off of one game, but, Justice Hill, him scoring 2 touchdowns at the goal line was honestly interesting because you think that would be Gus Edwards' time.
Right.
Justice Hill being real shifty, real elusive, getting through, making people miss on a spin move, getting 2 touchdowns. Todd Monken's, switching up on these people because you think if Justice Hill's in as a running back at the goal line, they're going to pass it. Goes and runs it in. But I'm definitely looking forward to talking more about this. But yeah, definitely the rushing yard stands out to me. And I don't know if you saw what Dan Orlovsky said about Lamar today, how it's going to take a couple of weeks for us, the offense to gel. And I'm right there with him. I'm not expecting us to put up 30 or 40, but this is definitely a winnable game. And let's make Joe Burrow's life very uncomfortable. I have some stats from last week from how the Browns, really shut him down. So when we get more into that, I'll be happy to bring them up.
What's going on, Jason? We got Jason from Huddle It Up Films. Says, hey, everyone. Listen, you guys, make sure you head over to Huddle It Up Films channel. It is now the prime time for film breakdowns, film studies, film analysis. Since we actually have tangible football back, make sure you go ahead and check out his channel because he's got some great content coming your way. If you actually want to see the on-the-field stuff and the breakdowns, he does a really great job of doing that. So make sure you subscribe to Huddle It Up Films. We appreciate you for coming through, bro. We really do. Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah, I just kind of wanted to touch on what you were saying about what Dan Orlovsky said. One thing about Dan Orlovsky, he's going to say what's on Sutton Def's mind. Now, what I mean by that, it kind of goes back to last year. I remember last year, I can't remember who we played, but we lost a game. And I tweeted, I was like, why is it that whenever we get in the red zone as on offense, whenever we get in the red zone, we always try to fight in a phone booth and just try to bully all the way to the end zone. Very next day, Dan Orlovsky gets on, national television and talks about how bad the Ravens spacing is, which is essentially the same thing I was alluding to, so that kind of tripped me out. And this was last year.
Was it the Giants game?
It might have. Yeah, it might have been the Giants game because I was real salty. We lost and we shouldn't have lost. So I was coming out with a bunch of salty think pieces, things like that on Twitter. So yeah, it might have been a Giants game. But fast forward a year later to today, I was thinking after that game against the Texans on Sunday, I was thinking to myself, man, Lamar he just doesn't look like he's all the way there yet. He doesn't look comfortable, And I remembered something that Lamar Jackson himself said at the press conference leading up to the game last week. He said, I'm feeling anxious. He's feeling anxious. I mean, hadn't played football in 8 to 10 months. he's got this pressure surrounding him with the contract and everything. Now that he has his money, he's got to produce. He's got the weapons now. He's got a different coordinator. I don't doubt the fact that he was feeling anxious, but you could see it in his play. And Dan Orlovsky kind of broke it down today how, Lamar Jackson, he kind of had a little bit of happy feet in the pocket, especially in that first half, not really, taking the time to go through his progressions, make his reads, things like that. And the biggest thing to me is that Lamar Jackson was not anticipating his throws. He was not anticipating his throws in that first half. And that's the reason why you saw him kind of succumb to the pressure sometimes, because, he just wasn't, like I said, he just wasn't really going through his progressions in the way that a quarterback in mid-season form should, so it's going to take a couple of weeks for him to get up to speed in order for him to have less anxiety and more of that trust, right, in his offense and his receivers. But what did you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, hearing it from him made me feel a lot, more comfortable and better. Because, like I said last week, I wasn't expecting us to put up 50-some points. It's growing pains. You could definitely tell in the first couple of drives it was sloppy, and it was kind of just getting used to that game speed. You can't really replicate that in practice, no matter what. No matter if they say, well, imagine it's 2-minute drill. Imagining it's not going to do anything for you until it's in the actual game time. But now for this game, I hope, we get off to a faster start because the Bengals are not the Texans. The Bengals are a contender. They don't have CJ Stroud back there. They have Joe Burrow, who top 3 quarterback. Even with his performance last week, I'm still betting him to have a big bounce back game. And of course, it's against us. Of course, it's in Cincinnati. Joe Burrow loves playing us. It feels like he sees us on the schedule and circles it. But Rush brought up a great stat that Jonas Schaefer tweeted out that Burrow had his 3 worst games against us last year, which gives me a lot of hope. Just think about it. Week 18, we had Darrell Worley playing as a defensive back.
Right.
So a big chess match, like you said, is McDonald versus Joe Burrow. And I think it's a great time for me to bring up what Jim Schwartz did so good last week. Joe Burrow against the blitz last week. He had a 49.4 passing grade, 33.3% adjusted completion rate, and a 39.6 passer rating, all in the bottom 20s of 32 quarterbacks last week. So maybe Mike McDonald was scheming up some blitzes, saved them for today, but I'm definitely keeping an eye on how we can shut down Joe Burrow and make him have back-to-back pretty bad games.
Yeah, I definitely think that is one of the keys to victory. And I guess we can go ahead and get into our keys to victory for this game. And I'll start. One of them is going to be, like you said, I mean, kind of dialing up that pressure, and that match between Mike McDonald and Joe Burrow is going to be something to watch for sure. Can he generate pressure with a 4-man rush? Can somebody get home? Can somebody beat their man? And for me, one of the biggest keys to victory in this one is going to be getting Joe Burrow on the ground, not pressuring him, but getting him on the ground. I'm looking at you, Oweh. I'm looking at you, Jadeveon Clowney. You know what I mean? These are great players. I mean, love them to death. They're Ravens, of course, but I need them to get home this Sunday. I really do, because I've seen Joe Burrow be elusive. He's very underrated when it comes to his elusiveness, so don't sleep on Joe Burrow's escapability and things like that. I put more stock in Joe Burrow's escapability than I do CJ Stroud's. I'll tell you that. And I think that's even saying something, So it just goes to show those guys need to get Joe Burrow on the ground. The pressures will not be enough. If we're pressuring and he manages to spin out of some of these sacks, I can guarantee he's going to find somebody down the field. It's just how it is. I mean, the Ravens have been getting plays extended on their defense and picked apart since the Ben Roethlisberger days. It just happens, right?
Yeah. If my memory serves me correctly, I think it was week 18 last year. Oweh he shook off Oweh and ran for a first down. That play just that kind of shows you that you really can't underestimate his escapability or even his legs, because he can pick up some first downs. He's not going to sit here and read option you, but he will scramble and get a first down when it's needed.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm right there with you. Ojabo, I'm looking at you too. Had that forced fumble. I think Jason Huddled Up Films put up his stat. I think he's played 57 career snaps, and he has 2 sacks and 2 forced fumbles, which that's really, really good. 57 snaps, and you have 2 sacks. And then Owe, I mean, he was very disruptive, but like you said, got to finish it. And if we can get Burrow on his back, it'll be another bad day because we cannot let him have all day. Because I promise you, T. Higgins will have more than one catch. Jamar Chase will get his, and then Tyler Boyd will get his. So I'm definitely this front four needs to step up.
Oh yeah, absolutely needs to step up. And another thing, I think another key to victory is that we have to be the ones to set the tone. Last week, 4th and 1, first quarter, right? Texans ball. That was going to be a moment. That was going to be a make or break moment for both teams, right? If the Texans go and convert that 4th down and keep their offense on the field, that says something. That sends a message to the Ravens like, hey, we're showing up. We're here in your stadium. We're going to take chances to beat you guys. We're serious about this, you know? I think that going into this matchup, the same thing needs to happen. The Ravens need to punch the Bengals in the mouth, just like Patrick Queen punched CJ Stroud in the mouth on that 4th and 1, and kind of just the whole stadium erupted and kind of changed the energy in the stadium. You know, that needs to happen. Setting the tone is going to be paramount in this game, especially since it's a divisional matchup. That's my second key to victory. You got any more?
Well, honestly, it's not really a key to victory. It's kind of a prediction. I don't think Joe Mixon or the run game is going to do anything against us. I think we will hold them to under 75. I love the way that our D-line played against their rush against Dameon Pierce. Michael Pierce was eating. Absolutely eating. Matty BK looked like, I mean, just sign him to a contract extension, please. Roquan Smith as well. Roquan Smith was just reading the holes and just hitting them and just making plays. He was mic'd up. And just hearing how much of a leader he is, like, I cannot believe we got him for a 2nd-round pick, an AJ Klein. Like, and there were Bears fans saying they fleeced us. You gave us a potential Hall of Fame linebacker that, we gave him 5 years, $100 million, but he's worth every penny of that and more for what he brings to this defense.
Absolutely.
He's only 26. The way he sounds, I thought he was like 36. He
does sound way older than he is.
He looks old. I'm like, how is he 26? The way he looks, the way he talks, he's just so intelligent.
He carries himself, yeah.
I mean, and then you watch the Wire, he's sitting there playing Connect 4 against, everybody else. Like 26 years old, sitting there playing Connect 4 before football practice, about to go and hit somebody.
Exactly. Like he's playing Connect 4 with Kyle Hamilton, and it kind of feels like Kyle Hamilton is Roquan Smith's son. That's what it feels like.
Kyle Hamilton said the game last year was low-key mid against the Bengals.
I did see that.
I'm like, just the culture of this team. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah.
But
and kind of really quick, sorry to cut you off, but speaking to Roquan Smith, alluding to your point again, the defensive line really helped out Roquan Smith because they were able to, absorb those blocks and really keep Roquan Smith clean and not allowing any of those offensive linemen to get to the second level. So you saw Roquan Smith able to fill those gaps, meet running backs in the gap. It was beautiful to watch. So
just watch our linebackers. It's poetry in motion, especially with Queen. And, he had a great game, I thought, covering in the pass as well at that pass breakup. But yeah, I guess another one of my keys is exploiting that run defense. They allowed 206 yards. As much as I want to think Gus is going to get a steady dosage, I definitely think Justice Hill will. And unfortunately, I don't want to see Melvin Gordon have the ball in his hand. We just signed this new safety from the Raiders, Jaron Harmon, I believe. And one of his plays he made last year was punching the ball out of Melvin Gordon's hands. Yeah. And that kind of just brought back PTSD. I'm like, I don't want to have the fumbling. You gave him the ball, he could turn it over in Bengals territory. Now look, short field, could be a free 3 or 7 points. But if we can get that run game going, which opens up the pass, Odell has the AFC North experience. They look good. And then Bate, to me, finding the open holes could really open up the passing game. So you just run game, find it, and that'll eventually open up the passing game.
Yeah. And then last one for me, last key to victory is just going to be kind of what I was talking about before with Lamar Jackson, just anticipating his throws a little bit more, feeling more comfortable in the pocket, feeling more comfortable making that 3-step drop. And on that 3rd step, ball's coming out and he knows where it's going, that I would love to see. Not none of this, makes his 3-step drop, kind of pitter patters in the pocket a little bit. And then you can tell he's kind of deciding whether or not he wants to run or he wants to like kind of hang out and see if he can throw it a little bit more. Like I want decisiveness from Lamar Jackson. And yet, yes, that'll take time because it's a new offense, but the hope is that we can start to see flashes of that in this game, and early on, So I think this game is going to be very telling. It's going to be very telling, no matter what happens. Go ahead and like the video, like our guy Simply as 10 says. We appreciate that, and if you're new, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We'd appreciate that even more. That'd be awesome.
Be very nice.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into the health report for this game. Yeah, so we can kind of see what the Ravens are looking like health-wise, what the Bengals are looking like health-wise.
Let's do it.
Alex, you want to go ahead and take it away?
I am happy to take it away. So, like I said, for the Ravens, look at that just talent that's on the report. Mark Andrews has been limited the past 2 days. Humphrey, Linderbaum, Stanley, and Marcus Williams have all not practiced, so obviously, presumably out.
Not playing. Yeah.
Marcus Williams, though, to me, the fact he's not on IR yet, I don't want to maybe look too much into it because they say he should be out for a good amount, but you think at this time he'd be on the IR? Maybe they're just waiting to hear back about it. Going to keep my eyes on that. And then for Bengals,
real quick, shout out to Lunch Break Hot Take in the building. We appreciate you guys for coming through. Make sure you guys hit up their channel as well. Ravens content, Panthers content. They got MMA content. Make sure you guys check them out. Yeah, Lunch Break Hot Take. Appreciate you guys for coming through.
So for the Bengals, Marcus Bailey, linebacker, limited today. Brand new on the iWord report. Joe Burrow, full the past 2 days, he's going to play. Halfback Chris Evans did not practice today. Safety Dax Hill practiced the past 2 days. Joseph Asai been limited the past 2 days. And Cam Sample did not practice yesterday, was limited today. And then Logan Wilson limited yesterday, full today. They look relatively healthy. I'd probably just keep my eyes on maybe Osai and Evans and maybe Marcus Bailey. But outside of that, they should be locked and loaded, ready to go.
Yeah, Bengals relatively healthy. Joe Burrow obviously going to play. The one that really sticks out to me is Logan Wilson. Logan Wilson is a very underrated piece on their defense, let alone their team. So if he is not 100%, that could definitely hurt that Bengals defense for sure.
I like him a lot. He's very underrated. Look at his stats. He puts up relatively really good stats. And if I was a Bengals fan, that's somebody I'd be like, bro, like one of the most underrated players on the team. You don't really hear a lot about their defense because they don't have a lot of big names like they did last year with Bates. And they had Von Bell, but Wilson is a baller. Their linebackers are pretty good as well.
Right. And then looking at the Ravens side of the report, obviously Tyler Linderbaum and Ronnie Stanley are two that kind of stick out to me. Todd Monken came out today in a press conference saying that, he has confidence in backup center Sam Mustipher and backup left tackle Patrick McCarry. We gonna see, right? If Lamar was jumpy in the pocket with Linderbaum and Ronnie Stanley, then I can only imagine what it's going to be like with somebody brand new like Sam Mustipher under center, and then you got Patrick McCarry on the left side. I just don't know yet.
I'd much rather McCarry center, Falele playing tackle, but I guess they don't trust him at left tackle. Maybe that's what it is. But Mustipher at center really scares me. I will go on record saying that I'm very scared of him playing center.
Well, yeah, I mean, all you have to do is just think back to a year before last when we were having all those center issues, the snap issues, things like that. If that issue starts to rear its ugly head again, that's trouble. That's trouble. I say it all the time on the show. Every play starts with the center. Every single play is dependent upon the center to do his job and do his job perfectly. So we'll see what Sam Mustipher has to offer. It is next man up. We know that. Just got to see what he does.
Yeah, there was a clip circulating on Twitter. It was a play he made against the Patriots last year, and it was very ugly. So that just kind of is living in my head rent free. Just hearing Bears fans talk about him so poorly, I'm like, well, now he's starting for a much better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. So fingers crossed that Joe D and the coaches here have turned it around for him, much like they have for other linemen as well.
Yeah, definitely fingers crossed right there. But overall, nothing we did not expect, from this week. Mark Andrews is another one. Not sure if he's going to play. He's limited. What do you think about that? What do you think about Andrews right now?
I think he plays. The way he was talking in the locker room today sounds like he's going to play, especially him being limited. Maybe if he didn't practice yesterday and was limited today. But if he's limited tomorrow or a full, I'd say he's playing. I don't think he wants to miss this either. I think about last year, the way it ended. him running the whole length of the field trying to catch Sam Hubbard. Definitely wants to get back out there.
Yeah.
So I think it might
I
be up to
think
the coaches too.
that too. But I think if Mark Andrews is on the field, I think that definitely opens up the entire offense just that much more. And I think it would help in kind of settling down Lamar Jackson, knowing that he's got his security blanket there. You know, if all else fails, I'm going to look for big number 89 and he's going to make a play on the ball, you know. And he's just got all these other weapons, Zay Flowers and Odell Beckham Jr., Rashad Bateman, list goes on and on, right? He's got all those other weapons. That's kind of like a secondary option, you know, in a lot of ways. So I think it's really going to open up the yeah. I mean, it's just
that's a pretty good second option.
It's crazy to think because all those guys are so talented, but we know how much Lamar Jackson favors Mark Andrews. And it was interesting because, you know, Zay Flowers got the lion's share of the targets last week as a rookie playing in his first game. So I don't know how much of that is going to get eaten away at because Mark Andrews is back, but it'll be interesting to see the target share after this week.
Something I never got either. I'm looking right now at the Bengals depth chart and looking at their front. BJ Hill, Trey Hendrickson, DJ Reader, Sam Hubbard, Cam Sample behind them. That's a pretty good D line, I'm not gonna lie. And especially going against our offensive line that was, having trouble against the Texans last week is something I had to keep my eye on as well. Zeitler, obviously, he'll do bits. Moses, I'm not worried about. It's just now just the left tackle, and hopefully Simpson can step up, and then the center. Mustafa, what a first game for you to play for the Ravens. A first start against the Bengals, a team that's had a number the past couple of years. I'm not going to sit here and shy away from it. Hopefully he steps in and does bits.
Yeah. Let's see. We got the Don in the house. Don C. What's going on, brother? Says Orlando Brown always had a problem with the speedy rush edges. Ojabo might be able to cause some problems on the left side if Owe and him switch it up like last week.
If my memory serves me correctly, the last time that we played Orlando Brown, a certain number 99 came around the edge, had a nice fumble on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but essentially got the ball back and helped us win against the Chiefs.
Talk about it, yeah.
Maybe Owe has another good game, except maybe he gets home this time, gets a sack, maybe causes a fumble. Not a betting man. Sometimes I am. But hopefully the result is similar and a nice win, except not as stressful. But yeah, that is definitely something you keep your eye on how Orlando Brown does, because he really wasn't that good with the Chiefs. I know they didn't allow a sack to Mahomes, but the reason why Mahomes got hurt, I believe, is because they got around on Orlando Brown against the Jags last year and got home on Mahomes, and then it messed his ankle up. So I definitely want to be watching and see what Mike McDonald draws up on that side.
You know what? Give me 2 David Ojabo sacks this week. Give me 2 of them.
Are you stamping it? Are you
I'm stamping it. I'm stamping it. Alex, I'm stamping it. That's a bold prediction right here from Sudden Death. You heard it here first on episode 193 of the Purple Rain podcast. I was just sitting here listening to you talk just now. I'm just thinking, like, damn, like it would be really cool if David Ojabo could just have a breakout game, because everyone's going to be watching this one. There's going to be a lot of eyes on this one. Unlike us playing the Texans, everybody just kind of expected us to roll the Texans. It's just like, whatever. We knew you guys. We were the biggest favorites going into last weekend. But this weekend we're actually an underdog, so there's going to be a lot of eyes on this game. And if Ojabo can kind of emulate what he did last week, and then the last time we played the Bengals, or at least in the regular season, I think it's going to be amazing to watch. And I can see it happening, man. Just kind of seeing his pass rush technique. I think the game might be starting to slow down for David Ojabo, and I think he's benefiting from getting all those preseason reps.
Yeah,
he benefited from that. And then last week getting that start and then getting that big moment. I know you watched The Wire, him on the sideline, he was fired up. And everybody else was fired up for him. Yeah.
Yeah, and what's pretty interesting? I know he's played mainly, Ohio State quarterbacks. He played Joe Burrow twice last year and CJ Stroud. Somebody just put a picture of Joe Burrow in the Ohio State uniform in his locker and make sure he sees it. Because that Michigan-Ohio State rivalry is nothing to play about. So his 2 sacks he's gotten, forced fumbles, have been on Ohio State, quarterbacks. So please, David Ojabo, do it again. Somebody let him know. And maybe Mike McDonald too, came from Michigan. Who knows?
Little bulletin board material for our guy, David Ojabo. Let's see. Lisa has a question for you, Alex. Says, Alex, will Project Pat get a touchdown on Sunday?
I don't think so. I'd much rather Nelson Aguilar. If we're gonna talk about meme stuff, I'd much rather Nelson Aguilar get the touchdown.
Nelly,
So
you
like
predicted
he
Nelly.
honestly he was doing some pretty good, rubbing and blocking. I thought he did miss one, but I would like to see him get the target. But I don't think Project Pack is.
Okay, let's go ahead and get into some score predictions, shall we?
Why not?
I'll let you go ahead and give your score prediction for this one first. Okay. Who do you think is going to win this game?
Okay.
And by how much? What's the score going to be, man?
I'm glad you started with me because I'll be happy to take the booze. I had us losing when we reviewed our schedule, and with the losses that we had in week 1, I still have us losing, not by a lot. 1 possession game, 28-24. Unfortunately, I don't think that we can come back from it. But yeah, I do have the Ravens dropping this one. Sky's not falling. I'm going to stick to my guns. And if we have JK and all those guys and Ronnie and Linderbaum, different story. But unfortunately, losing them really hurts me, especially on the O-line. That's why I brought up their front 4. If our line cannot stop them, it could be a long day. And Lombard might not be able to see, all his reads. So 28-24, Bengals win. Don't hate me.
Okay.
Don't hate me.
No, I understand. I get it. I think you're wrong. I think that the Ravens are going to win this one. I think the Ravens win this one 24-19. It's going to be a close one, just kind of like similar to what you said. But I got the Ravens pulling it out. I think that this is the week that Lamar Jackson kind of starts to, get his legs underneath him for real and starts to anticipate throws, starts to run more decisively when he feels like he needs to run, and really just kind of making that offense as efficient as it can be. Because when this offense is firing on all cylinders, we don't even know what that looks like yet, right? But I think that as the weeks go on, and especially in a divisional matchup where the game plan is kind of more clear cut based off of what you've done, in the past, I can definitely see Lamar Jackson kind of settling into this one and dicing up that Bengals defense. I really could. So give me 24-19 Ravens. Not to mention, the Ravens defense is one of the best in the league. One of the best in the league. Mike McDonald deserves a ton of credit. We're not talking about him just yet. Mainstream media is quiet about Mike McDonald right now. He's not really one of the perennial all-star defensive coordinators of the league yet. But let a couple more of these games go by where teams aren't scoring touchdowns like that, then yeah, we're gonna start talking about him. But long story short, give me Ravens 24, Bengals 19. Let me go ahead and see what the Rain Gang is saying here in the chat. We're gonna kick it off with Lisa, and
we missed it last week. We missed it.
Yeah,
She's always coming through. Always coming through.
45-10, purple. There, I said it. I wish Lisa was right every week. I really do.
Give Lisa the script. You give her the NFL script. We're gonna have just purple rain positivity every week. That's all.
I know that's right. Let me see. Chike, our guy Chike says, I'm going 16-10 Ravens or a Bengal blowout. Okay, so you playing both sides of the fence there. Either a close Ravens win or Bengals just completely blow us out. Yeah. That's feasible. I could see that. I could see that outcome. I would hate the latter, but yeah.
Yeah, the last blowout was that week, 5 or 6 or 7, 2021, when they just blew us out, freaking hitting the bird flu in the end zone. That was an awful game. So I would much rather it be the first one, Chike, the 16-10.
Yolanda says 21-18 Ravens. Okay, 3-point Ravens victory. Most of you guys are saying it's going to be a close one. Rico says 20-17 Ravens. You guys already know what it is. It's a divisional matchup, so it's going to be competitive. 23-20, 20-25. You guys are all like 3-point. Like you guys are saying it's all going to be by 3 points. I like that. Max Office says 20-17 Bengals. Okay. I don't like it, but I get it, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Boz says, I'm going to throw a curveball in there. It's going to be a 23-all tie.
No.
I would hate that. I would hate that. Yeah.
No.
I would rather us lose, to be honest.
Screw a tie. This isn't soccer. No draws here.
No, thank you. Ben says Ravens 41, Bengals 6. Would love to see it. Okay. Rush says 31-28 Ravens on a Justin Tucker game-winning field goal. That would be dramatic.
Ooh. Yeah, that would definitely be. And little fun fact, I believe Lamar Jackson's undefeated in Cincinnati's 2-0. Would like that to become 3-0. And one thing about the Mike McDonald thing, I think him and Anthony Weaver will be getting head coaching positions or interviewed after the season. I'm right behind you. If this defense keeps it up, Mike McDonald would definitely be getting the praises through the mainstream media.
Yeah, I could definitely see that too. It would suck, but it's the nature of the game. That's how it goes. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are our score predictions for this game. Now we're going to go ahead and transition into talking about the rest of the league, right?
Yes.
So it's time for picks. But before we get into the picks for week 2, we got to do a little review of the picks from week 1 that were made by Simply AS10 and myself, Sutton Def.
I'd much
So we're going to go ahead and bring that up. We're going to go ahead and bring it up. We got to, man. We got to.
I'd much rather not.
So a look at last week.
Awful.
Sutton's picks, 43% correct. Simply's picks, 31% correct. So, I mean, it's week 1, right? It's week 1. So it's really hard to predict. Yeah, it's really hard to predict week 1, you know, and like what's going to happen. That's why a lot of like, you know, sports betting sharks and stuff like that, they just stay away from week 1 completely because it's just so random, you know, and I think our percentages kind of reflect that. So we're going to try to, you know, kind of bounce back this week, do a little bit better. But that's just a look at last week. We want to be transparent. We want to make sure you guys know that, you know, we're keeping track of this stuff, right? We're keeping track of this stuff.
Oh boy, this is going to be bad. I'm going with my heart. See, if I would have went with my heart, I would have picked the Lions. But no, I wouldn't sit here and say, oh no, the Chiefs. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. Of course they're going to win. No, they screwed me. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting back.
Should have went with your heart.
I know.
Okay. All right. So now it is time for the weekly picks. I'm going to cue the music. K-Dog was asking for it too. Here we go. It's time. Let's go. We've got a Thursday night game tonight. An hour and a half. I'm excited to watch that one. But a whole slate of games on Sunday and a couple Monday. So, Alex, take us away. Week 2 picks. Let's get it.
Starting off tonight, Vikings-Eagles. Little rematch of a Monday night game last week. Jettas got shut down by Darius Slay. Guess what? I like the Eagles again. I believe the Vikings like Owens something on like I think Thursday games. I think it's going to continue. Primetime Kirk is a real thing, and he has no offensive line. Jordan Davis is going to absolutely feast tonight. I'm sorry, no. Walker is going to feast tonight, but they drafted from Georgia. Well, they're both from Georgia. You know what I'm talking about. Elon's going to feast. Give me the Eagles.
Yeah. Give me the Eagles, too. I just think that they're too dominant in all phases of the game. They're probably going to be pissed off coming off of that lackluster win last week where they kind of let the Patriots hang around until the very end. So, yeah, give me the Eagles in this one. I see a big game for their defense, for their secondary. I don't think Kirk Cousins repeats the whole 3 interceptions thing, but I do see him getting sacked at least like 4 or 5 times. I really do. So give me the Eagles in this one.
Hey. Ravens, Bengals. Obviously, you have the Ravens. I have the Bengals. Moving on next. Like I said last week, I didn't go with my heart. Seahawks, Lions. I'm going to be there in spirit with all the other Lions fans and CJ Gardner-Johnson with the blue ski mask on because I'm going Lions this week. I will not make the same mistake twice. Jared Goff, Amon-Ra, and then the defense. Give me the Lions.
Yeah, I'm going with the Lions as well in this one. Blue ski mask, just like you. Here's my thing. I made a short about this the other day. I think that Jared Goff as a quarterback is really benefiting from being in Detroit. Very low stakes city. You know what I mean? They're not really expecting too much. The Lions haven't won really anything in the past however many years. So it's just like very low pressure, you know? And then you've got a fiery, intense coach who just doesn't give a shit about anything but his football team and the grittiness and the toughness of it. Dan Campbell, we love him. You love him. I love him. I like him a lot. So I really do like what they got going on this year. I don't know how far they go, but I got them winning this week against the Seahawks. So yeah, give me the Lions.
Waiter, 2 kneecaps, 1 for Sutton, 1 for me. That's all I gotta say.
We're biting them off, baby.
Next up is a nice old AFC South matchup. The Colts and the Texans. A bit of a mid-off right now. I like what the Texans showed me in some instances, but if Anthony Richardson is a go, he played the Jaguars very well. I like the Colts in this one.
Yeah, give me the Colts too. I think Anthony Richardson has more upside from the 2 quarterbacks, from him and CJ Stroud. I do like the Texans defense. That Texans defense is not a joke. It's not a game. But this is a divisional matchup. Both these teams are going to know each other very well. And I got the Colts. I kind of trust the Colts a little bit more to pull this one out. Give me the Colts.
Yeah. And our next one, the Bears and the Buccaneers. The Bucks, they surprised me last week. Baker actually was solid. He said he saw the defensive signals at halftime, and they pulled the stats out. He was like 15 for 19 in the second half. Really doing his thing. Maybe Baker performs better when there's not many expectations. Could be a thing. But I like the Bucks in this one as well. Give me the Bucks going to 2-0 and the Bears going to 0-2.
Okay. Yeah, I got the Bucks in this one too. I don't think the Bears are just ready yet. You know, like they're not there. I mean, I said it last week. Whichever team lost that matchup between Green Bay and Chicago is going to have some serious soul searching to do. I feel like they're searching for their soul right now. The Bucks are kind of riding a little bit high off of last week's win. I like what they got going on. I think they ride that momentum into this week and beat the Bears. So give me Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and Chase Claypool might even be a healthy scratch. I don't know if you saw the tape of him last week. Not even blocking, looked awful. Looked like he wasn't. His head wasn't even there.
Yeah.
You know, I can't believe the Steelers got a 33 overall pick, or 32. It's basically a first round pick for him. Insane.
Yeah.
Our next game, a rematch of the AFC Divisional last year, the Kansas City Chiefs against the Jacksonville.
I'm excited for this one.
I am too. It's in Jacksonville as well. It's a 1 o'clock slate. I would love this to be a 4:25 because it's going to be a great game. You know what? I'm going with the Jags. The Trevor Lawrence MVP train is going to be going crazy once he gets a win over the Chiefs. And I'm not going to be fooled again. If Kelsey plays, maybe, but Chris Jones is back. I like the Jags in this one. I do. Heart's telling me Jags, mine's telling me Chiefs. I'm going with the heart this time.
Man. This is a very, very hard one for me. I really don't know who to pick. It's kind of like a pick 'em for me.
Yeah.
But I'll go with the Chiefs. I don't see them losing 2 straight back-to-back games. I don't care if they're on the road, if they're at home. I just don't care. I got them winning this one. Chris Jones is back in the fold now, and I know he just started practicing. Travis Kelce, what's the read on him? Is he going to play this week?
I think Yolanda said he should be back, so looking like he's going to be.
Yeah, if Kelsey is back, then definitely got the Chiefs. Either way, I'm going to go with the Chiefs in this one. I just feel like it's going to be a war of attrition when it really comes down to it. And give me advantage Patrick Mahomes over Trevor Lawrence.
Can't argue with that. Next up, the Packers and the Falcons, 2 1-0 teams. Falcons beating the Panthers last week, and the Packers having a really good game against the Bears. In Atlanta, I'm going to go with the Packers and Jordan Love. I feel like they had a better win. The Falcons, I like what they saw from them. Bijan Robinson had a nasty first touchdown, but give me Jordan Love. And actually, because Aaron Jones has not practiced, neither has Christian Watson. And Aaron Jones was an integral piece of that offense last week. If he does not play, the Falcons could sneak this out. I'm still going to go with the Packers, though. I'm going to keep my eyes on the report.
Yeah, that's a good point. Aaron Jones is a big piece to this game. Both of the running backs, because they both have young quarterbacks on those teams, and they want to run the ball. They want to establish the run and kind of protect those quarterbacks. But I'm going to go with the Packers in this one still. I think that Jordan Love, he looked pretty damn good. I'm not ready to say that he's like an all-star franchise quarterback, right? But I think that what they worked on in the offseason, you can kind of see it on the field now. He looks more comfortable, looks like a professional out there. You know, it doesn't look like he's supposed to be somebody's backup right now. So give me the Packers. I think they build upon what they started last week.
Romeo Doubs will be there. Luke Musgrave, their rookie tight end, had a pretty good game. Next up is the Raiders and the Bills. I had the Bills winning this one, right? But the Bills are a team I'm going to keep my eye on because there's a little bit of dysfunction going. The way they lost on Monday was pretty sad. Aaron Rodgers, we didn't even talk about him, getting hurt. We'll talk about that when we talk about the Jets game. But just Josh Allen not looking like himself, just throwing up absolute arm punts at that point. And you got to think after about how a Bills media member was basically trash-talking Stephon Diggs. The Bills could be a team that you're like, what happened to them? They were looking like a contender. Now they might have fallen off. I have them winning this, but I'm going to keep my eye on the Bills the rest of the season.
Yeah, man. I think that, this is another tough one. But I'm going to go with the Raiders in this one. I'm going to go with the Raiders. I think that the Bills are kind of unraveling just a little bit. I think this week 2 matchup will really kind of expose that, Them losing to the Jets is one thing. Divisional opponent. All the emotions in that stadium because of Aaron Rodgers and things like that. 9/11. All of that. For them to lose that game in that fashion, I think is very deflating. And I think it carries on. It's the type of loss that carries on into the next week. The kind of hangover you get from a loss of that magnitude, especially being on Monday night, short week. Give me the Raiders in this one.
Okay, cool. Next up is the Chargers and the Titans. This one is a little weird. The Chargers just are the Chargers. They're going to be close but never there. And the Titans are just really not that good. DeAndre Hopkins has not practiced yet. I guess give me the Chargers. Justin Herbert really frustrates me sometimes because I see things from him like, wow. And then they eventually just don't pull it out. So give me the Chargers, but it really wouldn't surprise me if somehow the Titans just win this.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Chargers in this one too. I feel the same way about Justin Herbert. I don't think he's bad. I don't. It's just I question his ability to close a game. Like,
there it is.
Often. I question that ability. And a lot of that has to do with, coaching and defense too. Excuse me, but as a quarterback, when you have the ball in your hands and you have the opportunity to kind of, shove that dagger in the other team's heart, you got to do it. You know what I mean? Like you got to do something. And I really haven't seen a whole lot of clutch factor from Justin Herbert, but I'm still going to take the Chargers in this one because I do like the makeup of their roster. I'm going to go with the Chargers. Yeah.
Now starting our 4 o'clock window, a nice little NFC West matchup, the 49ers and the Rams. The Rams showed me something last week. I'm not going to lie. I was not expecting them to win that. But I'm going with the 49ers with Brock Purdy, Run CMC, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, and of course the anchor of that line, Trent Williams. Give me the Niners.
Yeah, 2 years ago, this would have been America's game of the week, 4 o'clock. But I'm going to go with the 49ers in this one. I think it's a no-brainer, to be honest with you. I think they're the best team in the league. Just putting that out there. And I think you see another example of that this weekend. So, yeah, 49ers.
And now, a game that kind of can go either way. It's really weird. It's the Giants and the Cardinals. Yes, the Giants who lost 40-0 against the Cardinals, who with Josh Dobbs put up a hell of a fight against the Commanders last week. I want to go Cardinals. But, I'm thinking about the Giants. The Giants just have all this talent and no way they go 0-2, right? They got to bounce back from that. They have Wink. They have Brian Dable. Give me the Giants here. They give me the Giants. They have to bounce back. There's no way you don't bounce back. And the Cardinals are just a punching bag right now. Give me the Giants.
Yeah, I'm going with the Giants in this one, too. Maybe closer than we expect, but Giants nonetheless, yeah.
Some points up. And now to what would have been America's game of the week, the Jets and the Cowboys. Obviously, Zach Wilson starting, and the Cowboys looked amazing last week. Their defense was everywhere. Micah Parsons causing havoc. Give me the Cowboys.
Yeah, it pains me to say, to be honest with you. And I'm not even a Cowboys hater. I just hate the Cowboys, if that makes sense. But, I'm going to go with the Cowboys in this one. I just think they're such front runners, man. Only because, I felt like that game against the Giants had more to do with the Giants' mishaps than, the Cowboys just being that damn good. And I think they'll have another showing of it this week because, Zach Wilson, I don't see him performing against the likes of Micah Parsons and company. I just don't. Trayvon Diggs and company. I just don't.
Stephon Gilmore.
Right. Yeah.
I forgot
they had him too. Well. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not a Cowboys hater, but they have a good team. I just think their biggest handicap is Dak Prescott. I don't know what he's going to do. When he's going to fall apart, because it always happens.
Yeah. Dak Prescott, the ultimate good quarterback, not great. So, but I'll take the Cowboys.
Next up, another weird one is Commanders and Broncos in Denver. Commanders 1-0, Broncos 0-1. I'll tell you what, I think I brought this up. I am a Sean Payton hater. I'm really not the biggest fan of him. The way he chews that gum aggressively really gets me. I don't know what it is. Maybe the bounty gate's still on my mind. And him starting off with the onside kick last week is him trying to be oh, well, it's worked before. I'll do it again. No, it's not going to work. And I really, I'm going to go with the Commanders. I'm going to go with Sam Howell. I'm going to go with Terry McLaurin. I hope Chase Young is back. I hope he causes havoc. And the Broncos are just going to be, I think, a cursed team, honestly. Give me the Commanders.
Yeah.
All right. So we have moving on now to the Dolphins and the Patriots. A little bit Sunday night football. Oh, we're back?
Yeah, I think we're back.
All right, cool. We're back. All right. You got the Commanders?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right,
Yeah,
so
I got the Commanders, yep.
Sunday night, Dolphins, Patriots. I am done doubting the Dolphins. I am done doubting Tua. Tua is the real deal. His health is the only thing that will hold him back. Give me the Dolphins.
This is another tough one because, I mean, while I would love to just say, yeah, the Dolphins can easily just walk all over the Patriots, this is another divisional matchup, and we know how good the Patriots are. I mean, they held the Super Bowl runner-ups last week to a very pedestrian week on offense. They just did, you know, so... But Tyreek Hill is that ultimate equalizer. Again, it's like when he gets the ball in his hands, anything can happen. And, you know, the Dolphins have been doing a really good job so far this season. I know it's only a week one sample size, but just their scheme and their philosophy on offense, just kind of a lot of pre-snap motion, things like that, getting guys moving around, really confusing a defense. I think it's just going to be a little bit harder to confuse Bill Belichick. But on the flip side, I don't really see Mac Jones and company going out and putting up 3 touchdowns again, at least through the air. I just don't see it. Not against the Dolphins defense, so give me the Dolphins in this one.
And with 2 Monday night games. Actually, real quick, did you see Tom Brady last week at the Patriots game? Who gave him that jersey? That was a damn crop top. Like, the jersey didn't even
I did not
fit him.
see that, actually.
Yeah, look and see what he wore. The shirt was like up to like his belly button. I don't know who gave him that.
Yeah, the Ezekiel Elliott on.
Yep, the Zeke draft night fit. So we have 2 Monday night games. We have the Saints and the Panthers, and the Browns and the Steelers. Some more divisional games. For me, though, Saints Panthers, I absolutely, I'm gonna say love. I kind of adore Derek Carr with the Saints. I watched him mic'd up. I love what I saw from him. I think Olave, Michael Thomas, only going to get better. Give me the Saints.
Yeah, give me the Saints in this one too. They just seem to have a little bit more juice right now than the Panthers. I think it's going to take some time for Bryce Young and company. I never really saw Bryce Young as the quarterback who's going to come in and just completely take shit over. Like I said, I think it's going to take some time, and I think this week is part of that time. So, yeah, I'll take the Saints.
And our final game of the Week 2 window, AFC North matchup.
So where you at?
Browns. The Browns wearing the new all-white uniforms. They're kind of try to make a statement, I guess. Kenny Pickett, I need something from you. Honestly, no, I need something from you, Matt Canada. All right? You should be on the watch list for what you put out there last week. That is my biggest worry. But I'm still going to pick the Steelers. There's no way Mike Tomlin will let them go 0-2 with all the additions, with the great draft picks they had. If they do lose, Matt Canada, that seat, it's getting warm. Give me the Steelers.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, when I think about it, the Steelers just let Christian McCaffrey run for $152 on him.
Uh-oh.
And now you got Nick Chubb coming to town, a running back of the same caliber. You know, exactly.
Oh.
So, and it's a divisional matchup. It's gonna be a good game. I think it's definitely gonna be a good game. Will probably be close, but let me take the Steelers in this one. I think the Steelers will pull it out late. I think it's gonna be not a crazy performance from Kenny Pickett, but it's gonna be one of those games where they close the game out. The Steelers close the game. Okay. So yeah, give me Pittsburgh in this one.
All right, and there you go. Your Week 2 picks of NFL. Always probably one of my favorite segments. Absolutely love it. But yeah. So there it is. Pretty good week for games. I would like to say a lot of divisional games. Should be some good ones.
Yeah. Now it is time for a new segment that we just debuted last week. But this is gonna be the second installment today, the Purple Rain Parlay. All right. So this one, my guy Simply S10 came up with the idea. I'm gonna take the lead on this one. So give us some of those Simply Safe bets brought to us by Simply AS10. Yeah.
All right. So you know me, I don't like anything crazy. You know, I like to be frugal a little bit. I personally like Hawkinson and Dallas Scott. Well, Hawkinson 25 plus yards tonight. And Dallas Goedert 40 plus yards tonight. Goddard didn't have a catch last week. I only know that because I have him in one of my fantasy leagues. But I think this week it's a little different. I think they will be feeding him the ball. Then also like for one, I like AJ Brown 50+ yards. And then I do like the Vikings spread plus 14.5 and then Hawkinson 25+ yards again. It should get you around 100 for those three. I like to keep mine around the 100 area. Pretty safe. And then I'm not a big anytime touchdown score guy. Honestly, I was chatting with Boz about this. He had AJ Brown, and I was kind of thinking, I'm like, yeah. And also I thought about too. I'm like, Justin Jefferson hasn't scored a touchdown. Didn't score one last week. Has to get one tonight, right? That's why I don't do anytime touchdowns. Jordan Addison got one last week. Does Jettas get one? Because Jettas got shut down by Darius Slay badly last year. So that's why I stay away from it. But I think it should be two around 100 bets, minus like 103 or plus 100, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, I heard that there was some good money coming in on the on both tight ends for tonight's matchup. So that's definitely something to look at. Like you said, for me, kind of a long shot play, but there is going to be one anytime touchdown for Jalen Hurts tonight. I think that happens. And then also, I would bet the over, and people are going to say I'm crazy for this. I would bet the over on DeAndre Swift rushing yards tonight.
Okay.
Now, he only got one carry last week for 3 yards. But this week, tonight, no Kenneth Gainwell in the fold. He's not playing. So DeAndre Swift is the de facto RB1 for tonight's game. And I know, and I know Ravens know, who have seen DeAndre Swift play, DeAndre Swift is a good football player. He's a good runner of the football. You look like you got some news or something.
No. I'm just looking at his over-under. It's 35.5 yards for rushing.
Oh, see, it was 33 this morning. So now it's at 35. I would probably still take it. I mean, that's one big run and then a couple other volume runs. So, I'll take that. Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually. And then last week, I picked 6 teams to win, and the Vikings screwed me. It was real good odds. 5 out of 6. And, the Vikings screwed me. But, hey, Dion and Colorado had me last Saturday. Shador, they had me. Travis Hunter had me. And guess what? I'll be watching them this week against Colorado State. But I guess we can transition into the questions part. The question segment. So get them down there. If you have any, betting. See, Raven Ron will bring some of them up. But
absolutely
talking about other sports first and foremost. Coming up tonight and this weekend is the Orioles. It is a huge series against the Rays. They have a 2-game lead. Against the Rays. If they take 3 out of 4, it's a 5-game lead, and it's looking good to win their division. So keep your eyes on the Orioles score. Baltimore baseball will be playing in October again. We should make the playoffs, but definitely gotta win the series this weekend. It's huge. We dropped 2 games against the Cardinals. Inexcusable, honestly. Just awful hitting performances, but time to bounce back.
Wait, where are those games going to be at this weekend? Is it
in Baltimore? In Baltimore.
Nice.
It's actually sold out tomorrow. The game is like literally sold out because they're retiring Adam Jones as well.
Optimistic O's fan says, did someone say O's? Let's go O's. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I mean, I did not get to make it to a Camden Yards game this season. I feel bad. I feel bad because I said I was going to go. I didn't make it happen. So, but I'm rooting for the O's. I've been an O's fan since that was actually the first sporting event I ever went to was an Orioles game when I was like maybe 5 or 6 years old. So the Orioles definitely do. Yeah, they still hold a place in my heart, so go O's nonetheless.
Yeah, playoff time will be fun. You got to watch the playoff games. They're always electric.
Yeah, I'll definitely make sure I tune in. You got to let me know when they're coming on. I'll definitely make sure I tune in for sure. Okay. I want to bring something up while you guys are getting your questions down here. So last week, right, we started the Rain Gang Fantasy League. And so far, we've got Simply AS10 as the leader in the league. And you guys can kind of see it here, the standings for the league right now. Simply AS10, his team name is Fishing for Marlin. That's right, Fishing for Marlin. It's been that for the past couple of years. He's 1-0. I am at number 8. I am 0-1. But interestingly enough, Alex and I face each other this week in fantasy. And this matchup is going to be an interesting one. As you can see the projections down below, they're pretty much neck and neck, right? So I want you guys to kind of take stock of what you guys see here between my team, which is on the left, and then Simply as 10 team on the right. And who do you guys think is going to win this fantasy matchup this week?
Eckler, Waddle, and Waller are scaring me. All right. I don't know what's going on. I think Eckler hasn't practiced, but it's going to, 113.8 to 113.34 is projected.
It's crazy.
I mean, we're talking like whiskers close.
I know.
Like,
it's going to be a good one. Yeah, it really depends on if Eckler plays. Waddle, I didn't even know he was banged up. What is he dealing with?
Yeah.
But
honestly, I saw you miss practice yesterday. I don't know if you missed it today. But
either way, it's going to be a good one. I want to know what you guys think. So if you got to, pause the video, do what you need to do, and then put it down below in the comment section. The comment section. That's right, the comment section. Who do you think is going to win the fantasy matchup this week between Simply as 10 and Sudden Death?
Yes.
All right.
And one more thing, too. Actually, tomorrow there's a big game going on at College Park. I will be there. Maryland against Virginia. Some football. Okay. It's the blackout night. I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually getting to college football. I saw something getting to college football this year, and I'm actually doing it. So we're 2 or 3 weeks in. I've been watching more of it. Really been enjoying it. Really been some good games. I mean, Texas took down Alabama. You know, Bama losing this early doesn't really happen that much. I'm finally watching some CFB and trying to get my eyes on some prospects before it's around, March, April.
Yeah. Honestly, I've been doing the exact same thing. And it's really thanks to Deion Sanders and those Colorado boys, because I watched them the first week. And after I saw that game, I was like, wait, is this what I've been missing out on all these years?
Yes.
In college football?
Yes.
And I was like, maybe I got to start watching. Saturdays are for the boys now. All right. So let's see. Cheat Gay with a super chat donation. We appreciate you here making it rain here in episode 193 of the Purple Rain podcast, dropping the 2-piece in the chat. Cheat Gay says, Alex, I am in second place, 2 points behind you.
I can feel you right
He's
behind
on your
me.
ass.
I feel the heat on my neck. I need to just keep running. I feel it. I'm aware.
Yeah. It's going to be some good matchups this weekend. Looking forward to it for sure. Let's see. We got a guy, Gerald, in the house.
G-Money
in the house. What's going on? Gerald says, I saw a lot of rust on the field last week, but expecting the Ravens offense to explode against the Bengals.
Taking liftoff. Forging a new identity. The vault. I'm sorry. I had to just bring those words back. I hope so. I'm not expecting it to explode this week, maybe in like 2 or 3, but if it happens this week, I won't be complaining.
If it's not this week, it'll definitely be next week against the Colts.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. We'll take this question here from Raven Ron. It says, which game will be the OBJ breakout game? So the game that he gets 100+ yards. Alex, can you bring up our schedule and just give us like our next 5 or 6 opponents?
Happily. Bengals, Colts, Browns, Steelers, Titans, Lions.
Browns.
I was going to go Steelers. Introducing himself as a Raven.
Steelers is going to be more of a Mark Andrews game, I feel like.
Okay.
But Browns, I mean, it's personal. It's personal with him. I mean, everything that went on in Cleveland and, with his dad posting the videos of Baker and then the fan base kind of turning on him and stuff like that. Odell's a prideful guy. He strikes me as a very prideful guy. I think he's going to want to get that one back. I think he gets in Lamar Jackson's ear before that game and says, hey, get me the football.
I like that.
So, yeah, I think he goes over 100 yards in that Browns game.
Yeah, I pick Steelers. I think just he gives off that guy the reputation of like he's, obviously knows the history. He wants to make his mark in this rivalry. And he does that by having a crazy game against our biggest rival and, balls out. But I would prefer it be the Browns because that's the game before the Steelers, I think. So give me that and then maybe a back-to-back 100-yard game. Really wouldn't hate that at all.
Oh, that'd be beautiful. That'd be absolutely beautiful. The Don says, how cool is it to see PQ and Roquan in the same backfield? I hope they find a way to keep PQ in Baltimore. I know that's right, man. Patrick Queen is really making a statement this year.
He's a Raven. I don't care what anybody else says. I know that people, get on him for like social media. So I don't care. He is a Raven. He bleeds purple. I would love to see him in the black and purple for the rest of his career. He just just balls out, has gotten better every year, in my opinion. And yes, you play better when you have a guy like Roquan next to you, but they feed off each other's energy. Just watching them mic'd up, they're really close. They just, like I said, feeding off each other. It's amazing to see.
Yeah. You can tell. I mean, Patrick is definitely learning a lot from Roquan Smith as well, and just benefiting from having that strong side linebacker there to just kind of free things up for him. Let him be able to kind of play more freely, which is what Patrick Queen I feel like he needs in this game. So yeah, definitely a good point there, Don. We appreciate your question. I think we're going to go ahead and leave it there, guys, for the question segment in this episode of the Purple Rain podcast, episode 193. We're 7 away from 200. Still planning episode 200. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, again, just thank you guys for all the support, everything you guys do for us. The likes, the comments, the subscriptions, everything, the super chats, everything. We appreciate it. We really, really do appreciate it. And we want to give back to you guys. And we will be doing that this season. So make sure you stick around for other stuff coming down the pipeline for the Purple Rain podcast. Make sure you like this video before you get out of here and subscribe to this channel. If you are new, we'd appreciate that. If you enjoyed the content tonight, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. So you are notified whenever we go live.
Whenever.
So yeah, lots more content coming your way. YouTube shorts, podcasts, videos, things like that. So make sure you stick around. Okay. With that being said, you can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def. You can follow this guy over here on Twitter at SimplyAs10. Instagram is SimplyAs10.prod. And like he led the episode with, Manscaped, our sponsor. You can go on manscaped.com and select from any of the products that they have on their website. You can stack up your cart as high as the ceiling, right? At checkout, you're going to put PRP and a little coupon discount code field box, whatever you want to call it. You're going to get 20% off. Plus free international shipping, and that goes for anybody. It's on us. So again, love you guys. Can't wait to see you guys on Monday. Hopefully we'll be celebrating a victory Monday for a review episode, but nonetheless, have a great weekend. And with that being said, I'm gonna let my guy Alex take us out.
Thank you for coming through episode 193 of the Rain podcast, and as always, stay positive, test negative.
And never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. It's been episode 193 of the Purple Rain podcast. We're going to catch you guys in the next